Hi, Sphio here again to complain about literally anything that I watch. I want to talk about Ratched. If you don't know what Ratched is, also, like and subscribe if you want. And feel free to hate me in the comments. I know it's gonna happen if anyone ever comes across this, but for now I'm doing this for like the two people who watch my channel. And that's like me and I don't know who else, but I like rewatch some of this stuff because I gotta make sure I like it before I publish it, you know? Like make it public. Anyways, let's talk about Ratched. I don't know if I like Ryan Murphy. I think he does decent stuff. I don't watch interviews about him. I don't watch him like talk about anything at all. I just consume some of his content, mainly American Horror Story, except I only watched till season 5 because after that it got a little boring. I did watch like a recap of like the whole convoluted world and like the chronology of it, so that was kind of cool, I guess. But it stopped being good to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people feel this way. I mean, I was excited for season 4 because I love like circus stuff, and then it was bad. And then season 5, I kind of admittedly only watched it because Lady Gaga was going to be in it, because I love Lady Gaga. Anyways, Ratched came out. If you don't know, Ratched came out on Netflix. It came out like maybe 2 weeks ago now. It was pretty good. I remember seeing like an ad for it, and I loved the ad. The ad was so good. I was like, I gotta watch this. And I love Sarah Paulson, so I was like, I gotta watch this. And it looked like the aesthetic of it all looked so pretty and nice, and I loved it. So I started watching it, and like the day I remembered it, it was like 3 days after it had like come out on Netflix. So like I didn't look it up or anything. I just like the stars aligned and I was like, oh, I'm gonna start watching the show, because I just opened Netflix and it was there, and I was like, I guess I gotta watch it now. I didn't finish it all in one sitting because I also have to work, and each episode was an hour long. It was only 8 episodes and I watched like half of it in the first day, but that's also like, 4 hours, so whatever. I have a couple of complaints, and like hate me already. I get it. Okay, so first of all, I don't really remember the episode synopsises one by one because I think like kind of all merged into one another, because it was like a continuous story, so I don't really have too much of a distinction between episodes like 1 through 8 and each individual like thing that happened in each one, except for like maybe the last 2 episodes I remember a difference. The first episode, I just remember that it was really good. I liked the assertion. I don't know, I'm one of those people who really likes people just like, I'm someone who like knows that I could lie my way through a lot of things if I wanted to, and so like just seeing her lie her way into that position stresses me out, because I'm like, literally, I love how easy it is to like do some of these things and like lie to some people, because a lot of people who are working somewhere like don't really know or don't have too much of like a direct contact with higher authority to really establish whether something is true or not. And like I think about that kind of stuff when I'm like, oh, what if I like dressed in a janitor's outfit and then just like lied and been like, oh hey, I'm working here and I was told to work here, and like, are people really gonna question me? I'm wearing the janitor's outfit. Are they really gonna like think that I'm not working there? Like, are they actually gonna question me directly? I don't know. There's a lot of those things where I'm like, you know what, you could really lie your way through a lot of stuff if you really wanted to, and that stuff is always exciting to me, and seeing her play it off so well is nice. But of course the script said that these people had to buy it, so they would. Also, there's a little like thing like intro, and during the intro there's a little, or like when the scenes are starting for the episode, there's a little card in the bottom or whatever, and it's like, this is based on this Mildred Ratched, I guess, from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Full disclosure, I haven't read that. I don't know that. Apparently it's like a prequel story thing to like Mildred or something. I don't know. I was reading the wiki, and also to my dismay, unfortunately and regrettably, there is apparently like, it's lit for 2 seasons already, and I really don't think it needs a season 2. Now let's talk about the show itself. Okay, again, episode 1 was really good. I loved it. There seemed to be like, within like the first 2 or 3 episodes, it was really weird to me seeing her interact with that one like bald guy who was investigating on behalf of that rich heiress lady. That was really weird, because there was like, when they got intimate, there was the whole, like, I get that Mildred has this whole wanting to be a savior complex, like helping people thing, but it was also like, I don't know. When I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, I guess that you could be like, I want to make your last moments enjoyable, but that also isn't like, that wasn't so much of a savior complex as much as it was like, I'm gonna help you to the very last second, which I could get that kind of subservience. I'm literally like that kind of when I'm like working at all in anything. I'm like, I am going to like, I shift into like a completely new person based on like a position that I'm in. So I get that to a degree, except for the fact that like, does she also like sexualize the patients, or is that like only for patients that ask it of her? I mean, like, if I remember that roleplay correctly, she didn't really she was just like, oh, can I do anything to help you, like, make it better? And he was like, oh, I think you know what you could do. And then they got into it, and then she's like monologuing about the whole story, and I'm like, were you in love with one of the soldiers? Is that what it was? Because she was like picturing someone, and then like the lights turned green, and then she was like picturing the girl, like because she's a lesbian now apparently, and she had that lesbian experience in like episode 3. Also, it's weird, I like that the whole like, I guess that could be like a really big social commentary on like lesbianism, but I don't feel like it was kind of executed well. And that was really interesting to me too, because I had recently been thinking so much about like how media, like I was thinking about like Love Simon and Love Victor and all that stuff. I never watched them, and I'm not going to watch them despite me having a crush on that one guy in Love Simon. I loved him when he was like in Melissa and Joey on the ABC Family. So I have had this crush long coming. And so like I have every motivation to have watched that, and I didn't, because I don't really like the way gay media as like presented men. And then I was thinking about like the disparity between how marketable men are in like gay media and culture, and how like lesbians are like never shown. And so I was like, it was interesting to me, like during, I'd been thinking about like during the month, and then like I watched this show, and it's showing lesbians in such a better aspect, except for the fact that there's like the also internalized homophobia in like the first 2-3 episodes. And I was like, I like the fact that there's probably that she's gonna be a lesbian, and then she did end up being a lesbian. But I was also like, social commentary, given the time frame or the time period that it was, I get that was a really good contribution to showing that like lesbianism and like all these things, these people were treated like literal bad people, or like they were diseased, and now we're not. And that's good, but when you take that into contrast of parallels. But I'm like, and then I think, I'm like, how many people are actually going to follow through with that message of that? And also, how many people are going to be deterred by the fact that the main character is now, in fact, a lesbian? Kudos to Sarah Paulson for kissing that lady. Also, that Sarah Paulson, and the girlfriend of Sarah Paulson in that show, reminds me of some lady who's, like, on tomato sauce. Like La Cantina or something. I don't know. She reminds me of the logo lady. And also, that lady was really pretty. How old were they? Like, what was the age difference? I feel like I should have looked that up. Also, I felt like there was way too many people dying. Like, I felt like a Shakespearean tragedy, and I don't know if that was like the intent. I don't know who wrote the story. I don't know if it was Ryan Murphy or not. I don't know if he just directs this as like if he's like the visuals of all this and like the presentation, or if he's like actually contributing to the story. I don't know. Whoever wrote this, I don't feel like they did that much of a good job. I can't say that I would do much of a better job, but I also feel like the fact that a lot of these people died like every other second was kind of weird. Like, does everyone need to die? I don't, like, there were some of these deaths that didn't seem like they had a cohesive meaning. And then the head nurse, I forgot her name, sorry. The head nurse, like, originally, the mean, oldish lady, her infatuation with the doctor was kind of weird, especially when she was explaining it to her sister who ran that little motel on the side of the ocean, or whatever. Like, when she was explaining it to her, and she was like, you knew that you could see her react to getting rejected when it happened, like, live. And then when she was explaining it to her sister, she had, like, this other perspective on it, and I'm like, but we saw you react sadly to him declining it. Like, there was no like, oh yeah, you're welcome. Like, it wasn't her, when she was like doing this confrontation face to face, she wasn't having that positive experience. And like, her lying after it, I'm like, it could be to like, like if you're telling your sibling a story, you'd probably embellish it a little bit and like to give yourself a little bit of a kudos. But also, or was she just like crazy? Because after she got rejected and he was like, I will strike you in the face at the dance party, then she was like, oh, it was all in my head. And I'm like, what? Did you not know that? Or did we not know that? I'm like, who was that revelation for? Because I thought we already knew that you were getting rejected, and you already felt like he didn't really like you that much. But then, of course, Sarah Paulson, Mildred Ratched, was like feeding into it to try to get her position in as head nurse, and try to like get her to annoy the doctor a little more. But I was like, I thought you already knew too that he wasn't like that interested, and like you kind of knew it was an unrequited love. But that was still like, what was that revelation for? That didn't help anyone. Like, what? And then also, I called the lesbian thing, like, early on. Well, not really early on. It was, like, when they were at the diner. And I was like, whoa, they're eating oyster. That is a euphemism if I have ever seen one. And I was like, and then, like, a scene later, they go to, like, the little gay club. And she's like, why would you bring me here? And I was like, homophobia? Then, I'm just, like, skipping around the story. Because, like, a lot of it was just kind of, it wasn't exactly filler, but a lot of it really didn't have any, like, a contribution to the overarching plot, even though I'm not really sure what the overarching story really was. I mean, I guess it was saving the brother, but, like, was it really? I feel like all these things were kind of things that happened individually in proximity to each other for one thing, or not really for one thing, like everyone had their own separate motivations, and like the only overarching following story that was going was Sarah Paulson's thing, or Mildred Ratched with her brother, but that thing also didn't really happen. Also, based on Mildred Ratched, I loved the puppet theater thing that they did, like presenting it and like him telling a completely different story than what she was experiencing, and her only seeing the story that paralleled her life. I loved the way they did that. I loved the way they did that. Also, with the schizophrenic lady, was it schizophrenia? I'm pretty sure it was. Or no, the multiple personality disorder. I didn't really get that. Okay, like, I don't know, like, some of these symptoms really didn't seem to, like, have any correlation to what was happening, like, at all. Like, these were, like, I don't feel like the multiple personality thing really had to happen, especially, like, a spoiler alert, by the way, for any of this. I'm already, like, way past it. I'm sorry. Whoops. When she, like, killed the doctor, and then, like, later she comes back as him, Dr. Hanover, in front of, like, the elder, the head nurse. What was that? Like, I guess you could say that she knew him well enough, and it was, like, a traumatic response to, like, regress and not let go of that relationship that she had with him. But it was also, like, his relationship to her was more like seeking advantageous benefits from treating her to get notoriety for his, like, position as, like, a psychiatrist or whatever, or a psychologist. I don't know the word. But, like, what did that have to do with anything? Like, there wasn't really much of a point in bringing her back as him, other than to, like, kill other people, and, like, doing that Hanover thing. I was like, was it really to, like, have this displaced character that was Dr. Hanover getting revenge on these people? Was it, like, more of a proximity to, like, an afterlife possession kind of thing? Like, I don't really know, because I almost think she was cured again afterwards, but, like, I don't know. Also, we're, like, skipping around to the end, I think, now, here. I don't like well, first of all, again, the second season thing, I really don't think this deserves a second season. I hate to say it. I like the show. It was bright. It was very pretty. It was more pretty than, like, a good story. But, like, sorry, that's just the truth, I guess. Like, you know, like, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say it was good? Like, it was good visually. Like, really, it was incredible visually. But the story was arguably really lackluster. Like, I liked watching it, mainly because, like, the whole story was pretty. And just, like, because I liked the vibe of, like, that whole era. But it wasn't, like, a good story, you know? Like, I enjoyed watching it, but it's like in that same way that I enjoyed watching Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Like, I like witchcraft and the concept of, like, the Halloween vibe forever. It's not, like, the story wasn't good. Sabrina wasn't good either. But, so, I'm like, I don't know if Ryan Murphy writes this. I'm glad he can keep things pretty. And, like, he at least has, like, good concepts to work with, but he doesn't, like, execute them fully well all the way through. And of course, that's, like, a high expectation. But it's also, like, this is, like, I mean, come on, 8 episodes? I mean, I know it's greenlit for a second season, and I don't feel like the second season thing really needs to be done. I feel like just ending it on the fact that, like, now they're gonna go after each other and, like, try to get revenge on one another, or try to kill the other before the other kills the other. I'm sure it's gonna be some poetic, they both die, or whatever. But, like, that also takes away, like, the whole point of the first season of, like, her trying to save him. I know that, like, little by little she got discouraged in the fact of saving him, because he seemed to show, like, several instances where he was, like, unhelpable. But it was also, like, I'm sure he was unhelpable to some degree, but he was not, like, a bad person. Okay, he killed those people, but, like, he wasn't a bad person in the end, kind of. Like, I guess we saw that and she didn't, but there was, like, more than one instance where she was willing to defend him despite the things that he did, because she knew that he wasn't exactly troubled. But then she's like, oh yeah, I gotta kill him, I guess. Which was like, why? Like, I mean, I know he messed up with the girl and, like, falling in love, but, like, I thought she would have shown more sympathy towards him, because, like, there was a lot of sympathy that she had for, like, worse kind of. Like, I know she had this, like, thing about, like, oh, he saved my life, so I owe him everything, kind of. And then, but, like, I guess she got over that once she found her own life, loving, like, the girl, and, like, she found that kind of freedom. Does he know that she's a lesbian? I don't. Also, the senator man, I hated him. And also, Huck Huck, I love him. I am so upset. That's one of my biggest quarrels with, like, everyone had to die. Like, why? Huck finally got the peace and, like, Huck got everything he deserved until he got killed. Why'd y'all have to kill him? Also, was the guy who played Huck, I don't know that actor's name, I'm sorry. The guy who played Huck, he was, like, one of the twins, the gay twins. Were they actually twins? Or was it, like, a Liv and Maddie thing? Like, where it's one person playing the same people and they just, like, switch the camera angles and, like, put the back of their head. I don't know. The guy who played Huck, was he one of those, like, gay teen wolves? Or, like, one of the twins in the gay teen wolves? Were they actually twins? I think they were actually twins. I'm pretty sure it was him. So I love him, and I had a crush on him then. One of them, I don't know. Both of them, I guess, they look the same. And I don't know them on, like, a personal level, so I have a crush on both of them, I guess. So I'm like, I had a crush on him then, and I had a crush on him now, and now he's dead, and I'm angry, and he looked good in that nurse, what do you call it, the nurse suit? I forgot the word. I am sorry. I am sorry to everybody in the workforce over there. He looked great, and I'm upset that he died, even with, like, the little, makeup to make him look hurt. I loved him, and it made me so sad that Mildred was a lesbian and had to reject him, because I knew from that one dance that he was gonna have a crush on her, and I'm sad, and I'm upset, and they had good chemistry. I just love him so much. I'm pissed. I don't like that many people died. It didn't really seem to make sense. It didn't really seem to drive the plot forward as much as, like, oh no, the stakes are high kind of thing. And that was like, I mean, I guess that's cool, but I didn't feel like, to me, it felt like overkill. I was like, all these people are dying, and, like, I feel like a lot of these situations would be unavoidable, but, like, I guess socially things were kind of different then, so, like, no one's gonna take the time to listen to anyone as if they have a gun, you know, like, they're just gonna go, like, kill them. But, I mean, that's not really different from how things are now, and I'm sure there's a lot more probability of de-escalation in modern TV than there is there. So, like, I feel like in the era placement, I feel like there was still some kind of probability of de-escalating the situation with, well, like, just talking things out to some degree. Like, I'm pretty sure not all of those people had to die. And the Dr. Hanover's, like, story didn't really make too much sense also, by the way. Like, so he wasn't a doctor, he lied too? Like, whoa. That wasn't, like, I thought we knew that he sucked. Like, he was already completely inadequate. So I thought, like, that was already something that was pretty obvious to some degree. That rich lady and her son was a weird story that had, like, no point in being there aside from, like, giving us a reason to want Hanover dead and to give money to Mildred. But, like, there wasn't really too much of a, like, that was, like, a complete, like, completely out there, like, and a whole different experience story that really didn't do anything. Like, it didn't really make me feel any more malice towards Dr. Hanover, because he was already, like, he already sucked at his job. He wasn't a good guy, obviously, and he sucked at, well, like, being a nurse or whatever. So, like, him doing that didn't really make me hate him more. I'd be like, oh wow, he really sucks. Like, he already sucked. That was just, like, a gory story for gore sense, and to have, like, someone else against him, you know? Like, to have someone actually hate him. And I was like, well, I mean, I already didn't like the guy, and I already kind of wanted him to, like, die before that story anyway, so, like, did you really do anything with that? You know, like, he sucked. And what was it? Like, now he's divorced or something, and he brought his parents from, like, the Philippines. I don't know. Exactly. His story sucked, and I didn't care about it because he was not at all an interesting character in the slightest. Like, no weight, no nothing. The actor was, okay, I'm gonna say, okay, the actor wasn't that good either, so I can't even defend him that way. I'm sorry, maybe you were just working with the material that you got, because, again, some of this story is really poorly written. I'm sure you're a great guy. I'm sorry. The story, or the something was off. I'm sure it is not your fault. And if it was your fault, I'm so sorry. Anyways, yeah, I don't think this show should get a second season. I am sorry if this video was completely convoluted. It's just the story wasn't that good. And, I mean, clearly it wasn't captivating enough for me to keep a cohesive, like, chronology of it. If it's 8 episodes, like, that's, like, 8 hours. I, like, went to school for that long every day, and I knew, like, what I learned that day. And I watched this in two, like, I watched this one day, and then the second day, like, I took a break between. I feel like I should know the story, and I didn't. Like, not because I didn't pay attention. I was eating it up. Like, I was eating it up because it looked good, but it looked better than the story. Like, that's like those pretty cakes that you're like, wow, these are really pretty, but then, like, you taste it, and you're like, this kind of sucks. Like, there's way too much sugar. You wasted all of the material on the fondant. Like, there's layers of fondant and, like, icing and, like, fruit pieces that make it look beautiful. It looks like a peacock and it looks amazing, but it tastes really bad. Like, I only taste sugar. I hate this. That's what the show was like. It was pretty, really pretty, like actually really pretty, but it was just, it was like it was a mouthful. That's it. I guess I don't have anything more to say about it. It was pretty. The story kind of sucked. I don't want it to have a season 2. It shouldn't have a season 2. If you could have left it on that open cliffhanger, I would have been pretty satisfied, honestly. And I hate cliffhanger openings, but I'm like, that would have been like one of those good open-ended, like, oh, now they're always supposed to be after each other or always on the run from each other. And that could have been it. You could have left it at that. There wouldn't have been a need to like finish that any further than just being like, now they're never gonna know peace. That's it. That could be the conclusion. They're never gonna know peace. They're always both gonna be in fear. There's gonna be this hostility between them, and their relationship as siblings is not gonna be the same. That's it. You could have left it at that, and there would have been no need to make a season 2. But now they're gonna make a season 2, and I'm gonna review it because I want to hate on it more, probably, because I'm pretty sure it's not gonna end that well. It's not gonna be better than the first season. That's it. Bye, I guess. Sorry. Thank you. If you hated it, I'm sorry. It was pretty. I know it was pretty. I love the way it looked. I am gay. It was pretty. That's bye. That, like, it wasn't good. It wasn't that good. Bye. Don't yell at. Don't hate crime me in the comments. I don't want y'all to say like mean stuff about me. Just disagree and try to explain to me why the story was good. I'll wait. Bye. You can't convince me.